What's going on, Myles?
Happy Bryan. Happy Bryan Friday.
That works for me. That works for me. I think Happy Bryan works because I think more than anything, you just have to fucking convince me that's that's what's going on right now. Happy Bryan.
Do you like that when I misspoke and I said
Yeah,
Happy Bryan, I actually didn't back away from it. I was like, no, I'm going to commit to this. So I then repeated it and then finished the full sentence. Happy Bryan Friday.
That's what we do here at Improv Group. It's yes and all the time.
I mean, that perfectly answers your question of how's it going, Myles. Yeah. My mind is a bunch of noodle soup.
Yeah, it is a little bit crazy. As always, I enjoy being able to do these shows because no matter how crazy life is, no matter how tired I am, it's like we do this. We get over here and hang out, and it's suddenly everything's like okay for an hour. So thank you guys for saving us, giving us a reason to escape our real lives for an hour.
Yeah, we're here to try and hold it together for an hour. And then as soon as the show ends, I go and cry for 10 hours. But for now, I'm going to hold it together. And we're going to talk about PSVR2 and have a good time.
Yeah, you're doing an admirable job over there, my friend. You're holding it together.
Holding it together, just about.
Brilliantly. Admirably, I'd say.
Yeah.
Let's start the show.
Let's start the show.
It just wouldn't be an episode of GamesCast if you weren't a big blue box.
A blue box.
Yeah. And there we go. This is I'm so tired. I don't even have the energy to feign enthusiasm for the intro. Yep.
This is the show. Go, Bryan.
Who's the Muppet that like? I mean, I guess all of them kind of do that, right?
They all do it. They all do it in some ways or another.
Animal, or I guess Kermit does that. Right. So
Animal does it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing a pretty good. This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, Friday, right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. And I don't care if you don't like the joke, dude. We also care about your oral pleasure. Suck it. That's why we put this thing up on podcast services of your choice. My name is Bryan Paul from the channel right here without Parole. And the gentleman over here to my left, you're right. One of these thumbs is right. It's Myles Dyer from youtube.com/MYLES. Might as well go all the way.
DYER.
I mean, I knew an MILES in grade school. So how many people are going to youtube.com/MILES because they're audio listeners and they don't see it on the screen.
Right.
And that dude, he's killing it with subscribers right now. And
I'm actually having a look.
Yeah.
Who is it? I'm just having a look who it is.
I don't know.
Oh my God. It's got a really dark thumbnail.
Yeah.
This channel doesn't have any content, and the profile picture is of a skeleton slouched over a keyboard.
Yeah, he's that's supposed to be your skeleton, by the way. He's so upset with all the traffic his channel gets because of you. He's like he's made his entire channel an effigy to the Myles Dyer that people think he is,
and has a video from 19 years ago.
Oh, fucking time out! Time out.
Called IKEA.
This is what we're doing now. We are investigating.
This is wild.
youtube.com/MILES.
With 2,500 comments. Wow.
Yeah. Wonderful.
There we go. Anyway, hello, Bryan. Hi, Game Cats. Hope you're doing good. Happy Friday. It's wonderful to be here. Bryan, I'm first of all going to show you something that I got through the post. I got a message saying your pre-order has been secured, and I'm like, I forgot I pre-ordered this. Yeah? I forgot I don't take my money, but it was the PlayStation DualSense, the 30th anniversary one, with the original design. And I have to say,
what's your address again?
Don't worry about it. Shit, did it say on it? Oh, you scared?
No, but I do want to come over and steal it from you.
Oh, dude, it's nice, man. Like. The buttons, I like it. The colors, and I when I was talking about it with a colleague, and I was like, "It's 30th anniversary." Like, no, 20. I'm like, "Yeah, no, 20. No, 30. I can't believe it's been 30 years." But yeah, it's a nice bit of gear. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to share. That's what I'm not gonna. I feel like I want to use it, but then no, I should just keep it tucked away, right? Is that what you're supposed to do? I mean, I've already unboxed it, so it's already lost its value. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I'll tell you,
You
the
keep
one
stuff boxed, don't you? You keep all your stuff boxed up and like unopened, right? Or do you?
No, like
No?
consoles and controllers and all that gets opened and used. I've never once. I don't even keep boxes once I know that the thing works. I just throw it all away. I don't like. I like I like video games and I like having boxed video games, like complete in box Game Boy Advance games specifically. I really enjoy that. But yeah, no, like any hardware like that, I've never kept the boxes for. I don't get nostalgic for consoles. I get nostalgic for games.
That's fair enough.
Differentiation.
Yeah, I would
I've made.
probably. I have to say I would find it hard to get nostalgic, and who knows, when years pass, maybe I will, about other PlayStations. But the original PlayStation, like the startups, actually the startup sounds do make me feel a bit nostalgic with the different PlayStations because you hear it, and obviously it's a big part of it. Like you hear that every time you start the console up. But like, I think the original PlayStation for sure.
The PS2. Listen.
Yeah.
The PS1 was like so revolutionary for me, but like the PlayStation 2 was the first time like I had I was out of school and I had a job and I could buy games, and I was living at home with my parents, which meant that like a good chunk of my weekly paycheck could go to just buying games, right? So I was like, on top of it. I was buying games that I was barely mildly interested in just because I could buy them, right? And so there's something special about the PS2 for me. Like I was so just gung ho about that, and it was special because I could actually buy whatever games I wanted to for it. So that's the one, probably the one for me, even though I have so much love for the PS1 prior to it.
Yeah. Do you remember your first time? I was going to say experiencing a PlayStation, the original. The reason I say that was it wasn't because I owned it. It was because I went round my godmother's house and her kids had it, and we were playing like all the demo discs. Where there was a game, there was a Die Hard game, where you go into an airport
trilogy.
and you were shooting. Yeah, sorry, you're right. It was the trilogy, but the
Three
demo was
three
of
different types of games. Yeah,
that was it. So what were they? Because the one I played was where you've got the cross. I know Die Hard 3 was a driving game.
Yep.
The second one was the one that was on the demo, which was you were going into the airport with the shooter. What was the first one?
Cop. The first one was a third person, kind of like not over the shoulder. It was like more isometric than that. But you were running through the parking garage and you were going up levels and you were just killing bad guys in every part of the parking garage, trying to find your way through and save the hostages.
Right. Okay. But yeah, that was my memory of it, and I was like, was I playing the N64? My brother's N64 at the time, but the N64 came out after the PlayStation because the PlayStation came out
only by a year, I believe.
Yeah, or maybe. Yeah. So I think the last console I had before that would have been the Mega Drive or the Genesis, as it's called in America. Like I never had the Sega 3D or Sega Saturn because the Dreamcast would have come out. I don't know what year the Dreamcast came out, but that was much later, wasn't it?
9/9/99. It was September 9th, 1999. That's the easy one to remember. All nines.
Yeah. So yeah, my memory was the Die Hard demo, and we just kept replaying the demo because the demos would always let you play for a certain time, and then the whole disc would restart, and you'd be like, all right, we're gonna restart and then play it again. And Tekken, those were the two games. I think it was even the Tekken demo, but the demo allowed you to play 2-player, so you just play that one fight. And like that just is at such odds with the world that we live in today, with the massive free content and demos. Like when we complain about wishing there was a demo, back in the day you would play these like 3-minute demos. Resident Evil 2, I remember playing that demo again and again, and it literally had a timer in the corner. You played up for however many minutes and then you'd play the game again. There was a rugby game. It's our version of Hand Egg, by the way. And in that game, you only played one half of the match. And me and my brother, we would play the half of the match, and then we'd restart the demo disc and then play the same half of the match again. And yeah, that was the desperate world that we lived in back then. But anyway, I've stopped reminiscing.
Yeah, I mean, you started the reminiscing by asking me a question, so I think I'm going to answer it. And that is how I first experienced the original PlayStation. And the same as you, it wasn't through my own PlayStation. I had a friend from grade school when I was like he was a really good friend of mine when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. Mickey Gustafson, if you're out there, I think of you often. And I was at like, I forget what I was doing. Like I ran into him downtown in this tiny little country town that I lived in. And he was like, dude, he goes, have you seen the PlayStation? And of course I'd heard of it. I tried to keep up with like gaming stuff even back then. And I was like, I mean, I've heard of it. I haven't played it. And he was like, dude, you got to come to my house like right now. And I like jump into his car and like we go to his house, who, by the way, he also had like the TurboGrafx 16. So he was always the cool. I thought of him as the cool kid, right? Because everyone else was playing like Nintendo and Sega. And he was like, I've got a TurboGrafx 16 in this. So he's playing Bonk's Adventure and everyone else is playing Super Mario Brothers. And I was like, this kid's way cooler than everyone else. And so we get to his house and he shows me Resident Evil. And I was like, that's it. That has made my decision right there.
As in the first one.
The
yeah,
first
it would have
one.
been the first one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to me, like he shows me, I'm like, I'm loving the full motion video introduction. They get into the mansion and I'm realizing, I'm like, yo, this is like Alone in the Dark, like, which was one of my favorites, Alone in the Dark on PC. And I also loved Maniac Mansion as a kid. So I was like, there's a little bit of that involved. I was like, the puzzle solving and the enemies and the horror factor. I was like, but it's arrived, right? This isn't like a prototype anymore. This isn't like a PC struggling to run 3D hardware. Sorry, sirens on my end. This is just absolutely killing what it's trying to do. It's like absolutely nailing it. And so, that was it. Like within the next week, I decided I was buying a PlayStation and got one very, very soon after. So. That's
awesome.
Reminiscing.
Quick question. You were a massive fan of Resident Evil from the get-go then, from playing the original?
Yeah, from day one, yeah.
So I've never played the original Resident Evil. So my question to you is are we wanting that first one to get the remake treatment that we're seeing 4 get and Resident Evil 2 get?
So Resident Evil 7 was so similar to Resident Evil 1 in the sense that like puzzles felt sort of similar. The game design felt kind of similar. And of course it brought it back to the horror roots. Like a lot of people were like, man, this Resident Evil 7, the series finally feels like Resident Evil again. And they were really talking about Resident Evil 1 and 2 when they said those kind of things. So, yes, but again, like I want Resident Evil 1 done in the way that Resident Evil 7 was done. I think you'd absolutely do that in first person, and I don't think it's aged poorly. You re-record the voiceover lines and run through that mansion in like photorealistic 3D, and I think you'd have a fantastic game still. Really good, absolutely.
And Resident Evil 1.
Game.
It did get a remake or remaster for the GameCube. Is that right?
Remake on the GameCube, and they've sort of been remastering that remake ever since with like HD versions, and that's been available on the PlayStation 3 and 4 and 5, and so yeah, you can play that. But I mean, dude, I don't know, man. I'm so nostalgic for the original game that I just don't enjoy the GameCube one as much. And I know that's sacrilege. Right. Most people in the comments will slay me for that. And it's like, no. The remake, RE remake on GameCube is amazing, and it's the absolute best way to play it. And I just disagree. I didn't enjoy it nearly as much. And part of that, Myles, is because I've said this before for horror movies, and I've said this before for other games. My philosophy on horror is that if everything is scary, nothing's scary. Right? If you start off from the very beginning and everything's scary, like just like the look of the mansion, you walk in and it's like, oh man, everything's fucking creepy. No, it's like, I love the beginning of horror movies when like everything's sunny and the family is happy, and occasionally some like weird shit happens and you're like, oh, what's that? And it builds and builds and builds. And then when shit hits the fan, it's like, okay, nailed it, right? The scary moments are scarier because it contrasts that sunshiny, happy beginning, right? The remake of Resident Evil just feels like, oh, we're just gonna slam it, like we're just gonna dip you in tar from the very beginning, and you're fucked after that. I'm dipping you in tar. I just wanted to make it sound like everything was like dark and black, but I think that's a reference to something else entirely that I didn't mean to reference. So my apologies. Wow. Anyway, I think we got to move on, Miles. We're like halfway through the show. We haven't started.
Well, we've covered the first few topics we had on our run-of show.
Excellent. Mako XL with the Canadian $5 says, accidentally gave my holiday super chat bonanza to the wrong channel. Sorry, that's all right, man. Like we told you before, we're not here for your money. That's not the important part. Fifth with the Australian $2 tip says, new VR2 game, Oniriam. Trailers on YouTube. Yeah, okay, you know what? We can hit the brakes on this for a second. Miles, this game just popped up not only on the PlayStation Store. It is available to purchase, not available to wish list, available to purchase on the PlayStation Store. And I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it looks like it's Oniriam. And let's bring up that trailer right now so people can see what the fuck we're talking about. Boom, there it is. If I've got this information correct, and I do apologize if I don't, I don't know who the developer / publisher is on this. I saw a couple words and it looked like it was the same studio from, I want to say Brain Beats, and I want to say Mind Labyrinth VR Dreams, PlayStation VR 1. Neither one of those great games. Mind Labyrinth had some very nice visuals, but there was no actual gameplay. It was just kind of like, oh, walk in and experience these environments. And I'm a little bit nervous, Miles, that that's exactly what this is. A pretty game with nothing to do.
Right. It looks pretty.
It does. It does. Enjoy beauty. Oh, enjoy beauty and fight the evil. Oh, and here, like you're flying on the back of some kind of bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, and there's a shield. Okay, so there might be something to do here. Has anyone played it? And dude, I would have absolutely $35, Miles.
What?
It's
Sorry,
a lot of money. Yeah, it's
$35.
It's asking a lot of money from people who like we have no idea if what the
this
actual
is a AAA game. Clearly,
yeah,
AAA anyway, VR.
Listen, I totally would have bought it. I totally would have bought it and tried it out for you guys, but there was zero warning on this one, so I didn't have time. Been very, very busy today. I've got like the longest episode of PSVR this week ever under construction.
This week,
hopefully that'll be out tonight, but probably more likely tomorrow morning. And also working on the top 50 list, and also working on a Phasmophobia review, and also testing out Gran Turismo 7, and also playing Trombone Champ. And I think it's been a busy day, Miles.
Dude, so, what a time to be a VR gamer.
Sorry.
And the Black Friday, the Black Friday deal, I'm so happy for people that are able to jump in there. I've been told that the Horizon PSVR 2 box comes with PSVR 2 Sense controller chargers. Is that right? Also online.
Okay, so no. The Horizon bundle itself does not come with, you're saying a charging dock.
Yeah, which I thought that would be ridiculous.
From what I know,
PlayStation's not a charity.
There's yeah, right. There are, from what I know, some Black Friday deals are better than others, Miles. And the standard one that we've been seeing on direct.playstation.com, I believe Best Buy, I believe Walmart and Amazon. The cool thing is that they are actually offering the Horizon bundle and the non-Horizon headset for the same price. It's $350, and it's like, well, why wouldn't you get the Horizon bundle to get the free game, or at least give the game away to your friend if you already have it? Which is what I did. I just bought another headset. If anybody's looking for Horizon, would like a free copy of Horizon, I'll be giving that away. But I did see that Costco, this is probably what you are referring to, Miles. Costco has a better bundle than everyone else, and for the same price, I believe they are including the charging dock, which is incredible because that's $50 on its own.
I've just seen it. This is Sam's Club. I've never heard of Sam's Club before. Don't know if I trust it. I just shared the link with you. But yeah,
Sam's Club is huge here.
Oh, is it huge in the US? There we go. That's it. I'm always fascinated by stuff that I have no idea of being in the UK. But Sam's Club is a big club, clearly.
Yeah, Sam's Club is the big box warehouse membership version, owned by the same people as Walmart.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I learned something today. So it says limit 2, so you can only buy 2 of these. So Sony PlayStation. Yeah, Sony PlayStation VR 2 Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle plus the VR 2 Sense controller charging station for $349.
Damn, dude. Damn. I wonder if it's too late to cancel my pre-order from the other place, because that is a much better deal. Again, I usually need a membership card for Costco and Sam's and this kind of stuff. So
Right.
I think that's where they kind of get you. You know, it's like, oh, okay. I mean, it's only like
I'll put it in the chat if people want to check it out. But like, I'm not endorsing it. Like, I know nothing about Sam's Club. I don't know who Sam is, but I'm only basing on what Brian's telling me. Supposedly Sam is a good dude. So
hopefully I get all my information correct. I don't you know what? Don't fact check me. I would hate to find out that I'm wrong.
Yeah, the Pixels in the chat says Sam's Club is somehow connected to Asda in the UK. Yes, so Asda, ASDA.
Yeah,
Asda is a UK supermarket that is owned by the Waltons, the Walmart family. So yeah, that would make sense.
So it does make sense. All right, cool. Myles, I gotta say, man, I'm feeling the energy. I'm feeling the excitement. I'm feeling the electricity today surrounding this sale, right? It is making waves. The subscribers are rolling in as they have been for the last 3 or 4 days. Like, people were subscribing in preparation for this sale. I've been getting comments on the channel from people saying, I just subscribed, can't wait for my headset to show up. I've been getting, I got emails and DMs and Discord messages from people. I woke up today to just, boom, I was like, holy crap, why are you telling me this? Like, if people were sending me messages directly telling me how excited they were that they're finally getting a PSVR2 headset. There is some electricity in the air today, Myles. I can feel it. Like, this is PSVR2's time. And not only that, we can't go a goddamn day, Myles, without getting some awesome news about something that's happening in the world of PSVR2, whether it be new games announced, developers revealing that they've got a PSVR2 port for their game planned, new modes, Subside developer talking about making the PSVR2 trailer for their games, and also saying in the same Twitter thread that the PSVR2 version is their favorite version. That is the best looking one. I mean, this is the kind, it is PSVR2's time, and I'm so happy that you're all here for it, because, you know, by this time next year it'll be dead. So.
I love that you said that caveat. Yeah. Dude, this is not a I told you so moment, because we can't predict the future and we never knew how it was going to go. But for me, there was always that sense that when PSVR2 came out, all that Sony had to do was say, we've got a premium price. People that own PSVR that love it are going to come to PSVR2. That's all we have to worry about. Mm-hmm. And then over time, we're going to build the game library, which is what they've been doing. But with these deals and with the amount of games that exist, like, I thought the games on offer when PSVR2 came out was great.
Yeah.
But if you had any questions about it now, unless you are completely just against PSVR2, it is undeniable, especially with what exists currently and what is yet to come. It's just phenomenal, man. And so with these deals as well, if you've ever considered it, come on over. I've been sending it to so many of my friends going, if there's ever a time to jump in, now is the time. And it's because we're into that next phase now, which is how do we bring new people that have never considered VR? And I think it comes hand in hand with the pushes that have been made with Apple. Apple is a price point that I would not even consider. But the fact they're in the space will make people go, okay, maybe there is something to VR. But what MetaQuest is doing with MetaQuest 3S and stuff like that, investing in things like Batman, I think 2025, I mean, 2024 is going to end strong for VR, but like 2025, man, we're really moving into something quite special.
Yeah, no, I agree. And honestly, like, I'm glad you brought up the Quest 3 and Batman, because it's an exciting time for all VR.
Yes.
It's right. It's like, yeah, I think it's time for people to, put aside their differences and console allegiances. It's just an exciting time. Every platform has great games on it, and that's the most important thing. It is so silly for us to be like, oh, don't buy this. Oh, you should buy this instead. Whoa. It's like, I see it again, just like as often as I see people excited to get their PSVR 2 in the comments, I also see the console wars, the fanboys, being like, oh, it's so stupid to buy a PSVR 2. You should just get a Quest 3 instead if you're going to spend. It's like, dude, yeah. But you know what? I agree with you. You should also get a Quest 3. If you've got the money, you should get a Quest. Don't get the S. It's stupid. Get the Quest 3. And you get a PSVR 2. And I know that, money's tight. You can't just get everything, right? Otherwise you'd be buying a $3,000 PC and playing PC VR games as well. You can't buy everything. But just because you can't buy everything doesn't mean you need to defend the thing you bought to the death. That's stupid. Put it aside. VR needs to succeed for your purchase that you're defending to the death to be worthwhile. VR needs to succeed first. Let's get tens, 50, 100 million of these things sold. And then you can play your little fanboy console war games. Until then, you might not have a VR headset to play on next year, because that's what happens. You divide us, and then no one buys anything. It's all garbage. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, Myles. I've definitely somewhere in that fucking rant. I went somewhere else, and I have no idea what I was saying anymore.
You hit the nail on the head. It's the rising tide lifts all boats, and people are feeling it. Like, this is what we want to see. Dude, I'd love to talk about this as a topic of the show. We're not going to do it, but did you talk about it on a previous GamesCast live? The Game Awards, they announced the nominees for VR Game of the Year.
We did.
Oh, you did,
yeah.
The reason I was going to mention it was a couple of years ago. My good friend Luke, the Game Awards were doing this special deal where, you could apply for tickets to go to a Game Award events in London, the BFI IMAX in central London, to watch it, which meant you had to get there for a screening at midnight. It starts in the UK time till 4 a.m, and I'm glad I wasn't driving home. Like, I was so exhausted afterwards. But we're in an IMAX watching the Game Awards, and at the start of it, there was the pre-trailers they do. They had the new Dead Space game, and seeing that stuff on the big screen was amazing. It was a great experience, but I was exhausted, and it finishes. It's like, we've got to get home now. But playing big screen on my Quest 3 and doing the theatre mode, I was like, this feels like I was at the IMAX. So this year for the Game Awards, I'm going to watch it on big screen. Hopefully we'll have some parties with Game Cats. Maybe you'll join, we'll watch it together. And then it's great. I can have the comfort of my own chair, have drinks and snacks as I choose. And then once it's over, I take the headset off, I go upstairs, and I'm in bed. I'm not having to commute home. But the reason I bring this up is twofold. One is I love the Meta Quest 3 for those social components. But secondly, Sony, please, please, please have a big screen or an alternative on your platform, like those social media. It must be coming sooner or later. I still can't believe it's not come out yet. It just feels like such a no-brainer with Sony Pictures and all that sort of stuff. It just, I genuinely just, it's one of those things I'm completely shocked they've not done yet. I don't know about you.
The list of things I am completely shocked about is so long, Myles.
But that has to be up there, right? That has to be one of the top.
Yeah. Listen, the fact that it didn't launch with backwards compatibility, shocked. The fact that they didn't make that happen. The fact that they didn't rectify that problem by bringing over all their first-party PSVR 1 games, shocking. The fact that they didn't bring big screen or make sure that those apps get over, make sure that they, why aren't you in discussions with the makers of Rec Room to get that game over? Why can't we watch 3D Blu-rays on our PSVR 2 headset? The list is long, Myles. Why can't we buy replacement Sense controllers without buying a whole new headset? The list is long, Myles.
That is. So the thing about backwards compatibility, by the way, I believe that should have been dealt with, but I can also see that that's a bit more difficult. But simple things like a social app and spare controllers, that is fucking wild. That's Jim Ryan manically laughing to himself, going with money, like Scrooge McDuck. Right. Jim Ryan was diving into that pile of money, swimming in it. Which, to be honest, if you did that in real life, would be painful.
Yeah, it would be,
wouldn't it? It would be really painful if you dived into money like that. You're not going to fall into it.
Not painful for long. I think it would be painful for a split second, and then it would all be over.
That's true, and then you realise you're in money again. So you're right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Myles, the Game Awards is very long. I feel like they
It
need
is.
to, you know, they spend so much time on mobile games and free to play games and like games that I've just never heard of before, and this VR segment is so small that
Yeah.
it's fun to have on in the background while you're like, you know, playing.
Madison should have been a nominee. Just saying. I'm
Dude,
like
Resident Evil 4
yeah.
remake VR should have been a
Yeah.
nominee, right? But listen, the list of games on there is fine. I don't think I think Arizona Sunshine remake is probably the one standout that's like, what's this doing here when there's many better choices. I like remake, but not as a Game Awards.
You're right though. They should have more space for VR, but they can't because you also need like an hour for Jeff to let you know that he knows Hideo Kojima. Did you know that?
Right.
Did you know that? Did
Yeah,
everyone
I've
in the
heard.
chat know that? Supposedly,
He's mentioned it.
Jeff knows Hideo Kojima.
VRU going to the mall with the level 1 membership writes Milk.
Milk. Nice. Interesting.
Yeah. And also don't
Milk's
forget
right.
lemonade around the corner.
And lemonade.
Fudge is made.
Oh, that's true as well.
Dark Fable Media with the 2 quid says, "Hi Miles, nice shirt."
Can I say that this made me smile? So, Dark Fable Media, Rich, it's a production company a guy called Rich owns. He does music videos. He does it for some big metal bands like Tesseract and that. He does the most mind-blowing like CGI and green screen shit of like these sci-fi universes. He's made short films. But the reason I want to shout him out is he always mentioned he watched this show, and maybe I've just not been paying attention. I haven't seen him in the chat before. But when I think about when I bought my PSVR, before I bought it, the only person I kind of knew in my close contacts was Rich. He was always playing Rush of Blood and posting videos of it. And I was like, it does look really good. I should give it a try. So, yeah, Rich was an OG PSVR adopter. So, like, people like him, mass respect for. They helped it take off. So, yeah, my hat's off to you, sir. Because he was always shouting about, like, you got to check out Rush of Blood. And I think Rush of Blood is still a top tier VR game that deserves a PSVR 2 port. So much so that the Switchback creators said, let Sony know. Like, they literally on their socials said, yeah, let Sony know. Like, they want to do it.
Yep.
It's wild.
We agree.
Fucking wild.
We agree. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ace Gamer, the Game Cat with the level 1 membership wrote, "What happened to Starship Troopers Continuum? It's coming out this week. That's what happened to it. Why don't you watch
This
PSVR
week.
this week? If you're not
This week.
if you don't know what happened to Starship Troopers Continuum, then maybe you're not watching PSVR this week.
This week.
This is the part where I yell at all the viewers, Miles. You guys ready for this?
I love that metal song. Is that Slayer? Slayer did that. I love it.
It's Slayer. I believe the lyrics are rah 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 rah, and the song name is rah rah rah.
Yeah, it's
Shortened
wicked,
version
man.
of
That was
the
off
chorus.
their third,
Yep.
fourth album. Can't remember which one.
Serious answer though. Starship Troopers Continuum got delayed only on PSVR2. Like I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks ago they delayed it. And so the Quest impressions and Steam, I believe, impressions are pretty good. And everyone says, hey, kind of fun for a $17 game. So it should be coming out this week though.
This week.
No idea if I'm gonna have to play it. I'm gonna be able to play it. It's just the chaos is real, man. I just
chaos
don't
is
even
real.
know. Yep. Oh, sorry. I got real-time updates happening here on my phone.
What?
Rypop is saying he's referring to the Starship Troopers being taken off the store completely. Yeah, it'll be back. I'm sure
It'll be back.
I'm sure it won't be gone long. It's coming out this week.
This week.
This week. Yeah, I forget the date of it. I don't know, man. I can't keep up with every date, but it is this week. I mean, unless something horrible happened and they found a last minute bug or whatever. But I doubt it. It already got delayed once. BB Catty Cat, the Game Cat. That's some stuff right there.
I like that.
With the $5 tip says, oh, crap. There it is. With the $5 tip says, wait, you're not here for my money? I mean,
Nice.
I guess if you're handing it out, then that works for us. But yeah, no pressure, you guys. Not sure Brondo with the $5 tip says, nice backdrop, Bryan. Oh, yeah.
I love it. The brickwork is beautiful.
Yeah, today was the last day with the workers here. The only thing I'm missing are my custom made blinds, or not custom made. I guess, yeah, custom made, because they had to be made to order, because the length is it's this big, you guys, this big.
Yeah,
this big.
That big.
Yeah, that big, and yep.
It's like that, people.
That's why I'm not embarrassed. That's why I'm not embarrassed of the dick pics, Myles.
Fair.
Yep.
Fair.
If that shit ever gets out there, be like, and
I only sent it to you and my therapist.
Your therapist and I have been meaning to talk to you about something, Myles.
This is improv group, by the way.
Oh, no.
Improv group.
No.
Yeah. This is improv group.
Yeah, well, in going swimmingly as always. Thank you, Brandon. Nice backdrop. He says the construction here is done, other than the blinds, and so
I'm happy for you, man.
Dude, me too.
I thought they were going to be at least another 2 to 3 weeks.
2 weeks, maybe 3. Heard that so many times. But it is wonderful here, man. Like I've never loved a space that I've lived in. Like I've always been like, oh, this is just where I live. It doesn't have to be anything special. It just has to have a roof over my head and maybe, actually that's it. It really doesn't have to be anything special. And so being able to be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have a brick wall over there? Wouldn't it be cool if we knocked down this wall between the rooms? Wouldn't it be cool if blah, blah, and then just like, after 2 months, it suddenly like is that way. I've never done anything like special for myself in this way. I've never owned anything really nice in my life, and now suddenly my apartment feels kind of like something special, and it's really something nice in my life. So I enjoy being here a lot more than I did before.
That's so awesome. That's super nice to hear. And also, when it comes to brickwork, there's a lot of content creators that get that fake brickwork wallpaper. That's real brickwork, right? That's real brick?
Reclaimed brick from New York City. Yeah.
There we go.
It's crazy.
Not many people can say that.
I guess not. Mark with the $5 tip says, in a good mood, Batman Quest 3 is getting a new game plus in mixed reality in January. Gran Turismo 7 Pro update is a game changer for VR2. Yeah, I guess. You know what, Myles? Let's flip flop a little bit on our run of show, because Mark brought us into the Gran Turismo 7 conversation.
Let's do it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, listen, the pro support for PSVR2 games has been mixed, right? Most of it's been incidental. Most of it's been like accidental, I guess I should say. Like it's like, oh, remember that frame rate that wasn't great? Well, it's been smoothed out because of the raw horsepower of the Pro. Great. But we haven't gotten many games that said, hey, we developed something special for you, the PSVR2 gamers, right? It was Cube and Kayak VR Mirage, in No Man's Sky, and now Gran Turismo 7, saying, hey, if you have a PSVR2 and a Pro, well, we've improved the game for you, like purposefully. So, Myles, did you have a chance to check out Gran Turismo 7 on the Pro with the optional updates?
I did, and I want to say a massive shout out to the community, because I jumped into it quickly, I think yesterday morning, and then I tweeted saying that I just tried it. It has enhanced rendering and smoother video playback via what they call VR positional reprojection.
Yep.
And I said, I hope I'm wrong, but the reprojection feels much more noticeable now, and I didn't feel great. Can anyone confirm and deny? Because I jumped in, and I genuinely felt like sick from playing it. Like the reprojection, I've never noticed it that bad. Like it looked terrible. And then of course people were able to say, yeah, because you got to toggle it. There's actually a toggle in the game that you do to have their new VR mode. Now, when I looked at their notes, the way it's written, it looks like there are modes that you can toggle for the flat screen game, like 8K and things like that. Whereas the way they bullet pointed the VR stuff, it looked like, well, we've just upgraded the VR piece. So it's kind of nice that, they do these updates for the PS5 Pro, but you do have to toggle them on. And when I did, I was like, okay, no, this is good. The terrible reprojection stuff that I experienced wasn't there. The quality looked great. And and I had a really, really good time with it. And I'm wondering if that perhaps like it is actually worse on PS5 Pro if you're playing the standard version that you would play on a PS5. I don't know, but I don't normally get affected by reprojection or notice it that much. I really noticed it bad when I jumped in, but there was so much discussion under that tweet from people saying, "Oh, it looks way better," and others are like, "It's like 2% better." For me, I thought it was significantly better, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts because I don't even trust my own.
I just love that Gang Dump is like 30 minutes behind the stream.
Oh,
so
really?
He's like Die Hard Trilogy is the best PS1 game
Oh,
ever,
that's awesome.
which is like so great. So we like, so hi from the
Stone
future,
Cold Classic.
Gang Dump. I love
Hey,
it. I love
Gang
it.
Dump, from the future, we just want to say we appreciate that you stuck the course.
Yeah, no, for real. It's like, I think at least one person in this chat kept the conversation where it should have been.
Yeah.
But Gang Dump, when you get caught up, I have a question for you, and that's what did you think of Die Hard Trilogy 2? Did you know they made a sequel, Myles?
I did not know that. Was that on PlayStation as well, or PlayStation?
Yeah,
2?
PlayStation 1. Die Hard Trilogy 2.
Wow.
And it was the same concept. It was like 3 different games. Anyway, listen, we'll see what Gang Dump thinks of.
By the way, I've just been called out in the chat. Pyotric F says Myles didn't even spell my name. It's probably spelled the name of that other person that we talked about at the start. So maybe they're not talking about me with BS. Without enabling new repro algorithm, it's not worse. It's the same. All right.
Okay.
I didn't even say that. All I said was that I don't normally get impacted by reprojection. I've played tens of hours in Gran Turismo, and I noticed it really bad during my play. That's all I'm saying. So, like, you can call me a liar. Feel free. But I'm just telling you what you think. And I also caveat saying I could be wrong. I don't have ego, man. Like, I just want to know what the truth is, and it's why I always say, Bryan, what did you think? Is it improved?
So I chose a track, and I then played it with the new reprojection system off, just so I could have a side by side comparison. And what I found was on this track specifically, the people standing on the side of the road, the small buildings, that kind of stuff. Dude, you know me, reprojection is like
just answer Peter Trek. Am I a lying piece of shit?
I mean, on a regular basis, yeah.
Okay, fair. Yeah. All right, Peter Trek. I take that back.
Yeah.
By the way, Peter Trek says, I'm not calling you a lie. It was just some placebo. Dude, it's cool, man. It's cool. I don't want any hard feelings towards Peter Trek. Like,
No. Listen, we're all just having
we're all being
fun
playful.
here. We're all just having fun here.
We're just
having
having
a
fun
good
with
time.
reprojection talk,
It's
man.
good. Yeah. You know what's fucking weird? What's weird is that Portal. What's up, Portal Player? Portal Player's in the chat. Portal Player's been around for like most of the last decade.
Been a while.
Right? It's been a while, but long before we had the PlayStation Portal, right? And so his name, which once made sense years ago when people played that Valve game Portal and then Portal 2, they were awesome games. Now is relevant all over again. And so he's Portal Player, and it's like, man, how did you get that name? Oh, because you've always had it. Just want to say, it's your screen name is more relevant than ever. My guess is though that Portal Player does not own a Portal, which would be fucking ironic, don't you think? Anyway, so I played. Ironic? So yeah, so I was looking specifically for examples of reprojection on my first playthrough with the new system off, and again I had chosen this course, so I was looking for things in this course because I want to do side by side comparison. And I'll tell you, Myles, as somebody who is extremely bothered by reprojection, Gran Turismo 7 has never really bothered me. Right? It's a lot. The cars in front of you aren't generally flying back and forth, right? You're not doing any climbing in this game, right? So there's not like this foreground stuff that is like moving against background stuff, which is when you really see reprojection. And so Gran Turismo 7, I think, is sort of the perfect game to use reprojection because you just don't really notice it all that much, or I don't notice it all that much. Did not bother me. I spent close to 100 hours in this game leading up to the review, and did not really notice reprojection unless I was looking for it. So, of course, here I am looking for it today.
Maybe that's what it was.
Really, the places I was noticing it was like when you're driving straight and you look to your right or left with the stuff going by, all the scenery going by. right?
Yes.
To going left.
And this
to
is
right.
with it off, by the way, with the VR
With
mode
it
off.
off.
Yeah, the new mode off. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, the crowds and stuff like that, it was all that stuff really bothered me. And and actually what you're saying there, maybe that's what it was. Maybe it's because I was looking for it, because I'm going, let's see if it's an improvement on reprojection. So you're looking for it. So that could be what it is. Yeah,
So,
the trees, all the landscape stuff, I was like, holy shit, this is bad.
So, of course, I finished the race and I switched it over. And
First place. Yep.
I finished it first place. Yep. And I started looking. I was like, oh wow, it's just gone. The ghosting in those people and those buildings and everything, that's just gone. Now, looking straight forward and looking at the cars ahead of me and the road ahead of me, I didn't really get much of a difference, right? Because like I said, it's never really bothered me in this game, whereas in many other games, it's bothered me a lot. So, so I had to kind of look for it in this game. I will say, when you look through this massive chain link fence, like the one that's 20 feet tall on either side, it actually makes the reprojection worse with the new mode on. Because nothing's perfect. It's like there's probably some kind of transparency effect or whatever that does, and so the ghosting isn't even minuscule anymore. There are people who are supposed to be just one person but the ghosting is literally 3 people away, right? And so there's all this new ghosting that happens that's so much worse when you look through the chain link fence. So these things aren't perfect, but I will say, Myles, if they use this same reprojection system, say in Horizon Call of the Mountain, right? I think it would solve my issues with the visuals, right? Because it is when you're climbing and there's a lot of stuff in the foreground moving out of your vision or past your vision one way or another, left, right, up or down. And then you see that and it's moving against that background and you see the ghosting. I believe that what we're seeing here could absolutely fix what we see there.
Yeah, dude. The thing I noticed when I turned the mode on was that there was a lot of, and they do warn this in the setting, is there is artifacts you'll see, and what I found was there were these glitches in the trees in the distance. There'll be stuff where it's it was a bit more shimmery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did notice that a lot, but it was clearer overall, and so it's a give and take on what you want. I think the picture quality was way better, but there was definitely artifacts and weird stuff going on, which it's only a matter of time until it gets fixed. Right. That stuff that they'll solve. Yeah.
So, Myles, this whole thing it's exciting, right? A lot of people had said, "Hey, if the Pro fixes reprojection, I'll buy the Pro." Right? And I think what they meant by that, Myles, isn't that oh, will it, have a better form of reprojection? What they meant by that is, can it get every game up and running at 90 native? Right. But the thing is not every game needs to be up and running at 90 native. We just need to fix the reprojection, right? Because we never complained about reprojection on the PSVR 1 or the Quest 1 or the Quest 2 or the Quest 3, right? It only became an issue on PSVR 2. And so it's not really an issue of frame rates. It's just an issue of fixing the reprojection. And it seems like they've got a pretty damn good fix here with whatever they're doing in Gran Turismo 7. So the question is this going to be exclusive to Pro? How widely used will it be? In terms of, will developers go back? Will Firesprite go back and patch this into Horizon Call of the Mountain? Maybe give us an option to turn it on and off, depending on how bad the artifacting is or whatever in that game. Will this be widely available for developers to use moving forward? And obviously, the biggest question that people probably are asking is, can this be done on the PS5 proper? Do we need the Pro to make this work? Do you have thoughts on any of that? Because I do, but nothing concrete, obviously.
Dude, I'm so up in the air when it comes to the PS5 Pro and what it can do. Because, look, this is going to be the most simplistic way of talking about it, is what we're seeing improvements on is the GPU, not the CPU. Am I right? And so stuff like PSSR and all that, which hasn't been implemented yet, I don't know. From what I've seen talked about, you'd have to have significant increases in the CPU to deal with reprojection. That's my kind of feeling on it. So, but clearly what they've done here is kind of working. So this is my long roundabout way of saying I have no fucking idea, Brian.
Yeah,
and
listen.
I'm always lending it to you, Wes, and other people in the community. I was even speaking with Mystic Ryan earlier about it because he was asking me, saying like I don't really know a lot about it, and I'm just reading what exactly he said. He basically said, my surface level understanding is that there's really not much the extra GPU compute can do to reprojection, but I'd happily be wrong if there's more to it. A lot of us don't know, but I think the answer is the devs are trying to know, aren't they? Like, that's the whole point. The devs are trying to work out, like, this is a new frontier of gaming. And if the devs did have a clear answer, I think we'd know about it already. The point is that they're trying to optimize what they've got to work with and see what works. And it's why that when you do see stuff like the PSSR used on flat screen games, you do have some examples where there are weird artifacts going on. And it's what I've mentioned before, which is the PS5 Pro is a stepping stone for the PS6. If they just introduced this new AI technology to PS6, you'd sort of be going into it going, oh shit, what are we dealing with? Whereas, we've got 3-4 years to get it right. So, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, listen, I think what's happening here, and this is, again, it's just speculation. I think that Sony's trying something out. Right? They're saying, hey, like we've got this up and running on the Pro right now for one game, right? And so we're testing this out. We wanted to share this with you guys. Gran Turismo 7 is getting constant updates, and so it was, what a perfect game to test something out on. And so and depending on which developer we've talked to, the answers have been kind of all over the place regarding, like, is this even possible on the OG or whatever. I think the Encircled developer, Random, said that should be possible on the OG. It shouldn't be limited to the Pro. I think the interesting part about this is, Myles, that whenever we've talked about this prior, it felt like this is something that was reprojection was something that was coming from the PlayStation 5 itself, right? That was the thing that was doubling the frame rate, creating these artificial frames between the ones that are naturally being rendered in order to get it up to 120. And so there was this assumption that once it was fixed, once the reprojection system was quote unquote fixed, all games that used it would just magically be using the new reprojection system. And that doesn't seem like what's happening, which is like a little bit frustrating, right? Because now we have to be like, get all the developers who have used reprojection before to be like, to update their games. And is it even worthwhile? Are they going to do it? It's a lot of craziness. This is, I guess, what you'd call the most expected way Sony could do pretty much anything, right? It's not the easy way. It's not. It's currently only on the Pro. It's only on one game. It's not perfect. It's like it's about as Sony gets. And so for anyone out there who's frustrated or is like, oh man, I wish I had a Pro, or the Pro isn't worth it, or whatever, is just give it some time. Give it some time. This is a nice step in the right direction. We had heard that Sony was working on their reprojection system, and then we heard nothing for a year. And so the fact that we're hearing something, no matter what it is, like, just be like, oh, good, at least they're doing something behind the scenes. Let's patiently wait until we hear more. So just FYI, like I said, I was definitely talking to some developers behind the scenes, and I won't name anybody's name, but this particular developer says the answer to Meta's asynchronous space warp. Currently, reprojection on PSVR2 only takes into account 3 degrees of freedom information from the headset. In other words, rotation info only. Positional reprojection, which is what we're talking about here, takes into account 6 degrees of freedom. So rotation and movement on all 6 axes. And I think that's all we got for right now. So this is it's just doing it's just handling a little bit more from more sources, I guess. I don't know, man. Like we start to get detailed on this. We start to get technical on this, and I'm already outside my realm of comfort. Right? I don't want to sound like I'm trying to educate anyone. I'm just relaying information, and I really don't know beyond what I've already said how things work. So, it'll be interesting, Myles. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this in the future.
Yeah.
Dude, we got a couple more tips here. Let's tackle these before we move on to the next thing.
Actually, last thing I want to say is I just can't wait to play Vertigo games without any reprojection. To play Arizona Sunshine games, Metro without the reprojection. Yeah. And again, it's not that the games look bad. I'm like, these are so beautiful. God, how incredible they would look if they managed to solve the reprojection issue.
Right. So I'm just looking through the chat here. Phil's up said picky shower of shits. Is that an expression somewhere, Myles? Do you guys ever say picky shower of shits?
I've never heard that term in my life.
Nice. Okay, good. At least it's not a British thing. He said, I flipped when I saw Virtua Racing back in the day. What we have now is fucking awesome. Yeah, dude, for sure. But we can't have every show start with, well, this is rough compared to some other games, but compared to Virtua Racing, it's fucking 10 out of 10, man. And what we got now is fucking insane compared to Virtua Racing. if we compare everything to what we had 20 years ago, well, then everything would be amazing all of the time. Oh, Steve Irie says it's an expression here, so I guess in Ireland. That sounds like a horrible
I'm not calling anyone a liar. I've never heard of it.
It's okay. They're calling you a liar. That's the important part.
That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, my last name is Dyer. He's a liar. I've heard it all before. I've had to live with it.
Liar, Dyer, pants on fire.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are worse names you could have been called. And if you'd like an example, I can tell you all the things.
No. We don't have to go in. We don't have to go into that. No? That's fine. It's fine. You can. No.
I mean, so I still get called some of those names. You should see the unfiltered comments with that Parole, Myles.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. You got to have a thick skin for this profession because there's people that have nothing better to do than harass you. Macho. Speaking of which, the real estate procrastinating game cat with the $5 tips says the PC compatibility was very important and correct move. Okay. Sorry, I should just keep reading because it was a very important and correct move for Sony to do, especially with how many players now own both a PS5 and a PC. Tone shift since. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Also, even better that like the Cactus Cowboy developer is like able to get adaptive triggers up and running on PC, right? So it's like it's becoming a better headset for PC gamers by the day.
I saw him at Gamescom.
Yeah,
he was at the XR Space. I was like,
Gregor, is that?
Yeah. I was like, dude, I'll speak to you in a moment because I was just going to the bathroom. I never saw him again. I was really sad, really sad about that.
He's still waiting by the bathroom.
Oh my god, if he's still there. Oh my god.
Yeah, explains why we haven't gotten Cactus Cowboy 7 yet.
He's waiting for me to come out the toilet.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
There's a joke to be made there, but I don't think we should make it. Professor Lilith with the $5 tip says, "Hey, Game Cats," or no, nope, just "Hey, Gamers." Okay.
Hey, Gamers.
This week's Sunday multiplayer will be once again Phasmophobia. Get yourself some practice before the day. 2 p.m. Eastern, November 24th. Bro.
I jumped into it for a little bit the other day, and I was like, I want to play more, and I haven't played more since. Want to play more. Dude, that game is so good.
Yeah. So I've been working on the review, Myles, and I think it's I think it's really difficult to do a review for this game because, as I'm sure I've said before on the show, saying how much I love something, despite the fact that it has all sorts of issues, I never want to give a developer a pass and be like, "Oh, your game's fucking incredible," even though there's all this jank and half people can't open a door. You know what I mean? It's like, right. And but man,
door opening is a must.
The more I play, the more my score goes up, man. It is just, this game is so much fun. And honestly, like if you've only jumped in and you've only jumped in with either by playing by yourself or with other people who just started the game, dude, I feel very, very fortunate to know people. Sonic specifically, one of our moderators, Mr. Sonic, he's been so helpful with information, not revealing more than necessary. You know what I mean? And like letting us discover some of the really cool things that Phasmophobia has to offer. And because I think learning about the ghosts and learning what ghost does what and how to detect certain evidence, it's all part of the fun, man. It's like you really do start off and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Fast forward a week and you're like, I think I know what I'm doing, but I still have so many questions. Another week, you still have so many questions, but you're like constantly leveling up and getting better equipment, right? And so he's letting us kind of experience the joy of learning by ourselves, but also when he joins our game, he brings some very cool level 3 equipment to the mix. So you get to see what your game is going to look like 100 hours from now. And it is night and day, Myles. Like the level 3 equipment is just some of the coolest high-tech stuff that there is. And, when you're starting off and you're using like an analog thermometer filled with mercury and you're waiting for that temperature to drop so you can figure out what the ghost room is, it's so stressful. But you go in with like a digital thermometer and you hold the trigger for like 2 seconds for it to get a reading. Dramatically different, right? The night vision goggles you can get, dude, there's so...
I know.
So cool.
I'm super excited to save up for it now. Like, it's once you start playing, because when we started playing, you join people that have got all the stuff and you don't really appreciate it. But the fun is like starting and working your way up and unlocking the levels. And what is actually quite good about Phasmophobia is the price to restock on items doesn't change no matter what. You only pay a premium for upgrading them. But once you've upgraded them, they'll still cost the same, which is a cool. Random thought. I did play the other night the lighthouse level again that we did weeks ago, and I don't know about you when we played that time. I don't think we went up all the way to the top, but on this game we actually went to the top floor, and it was cool. Like I don't think
I've ever been to the top. I've played it since,
right?
Without you, and but we found the ghost room like I don't know, probably like 2 or 3 floors from the top, and so we just stayed there.
Okay, we were just like, we screw the ghost. We just want to see what the top is, and then we'll work our way down. And yeah, it's a cool map, man. Like, oh god, yeah, I love it. I love Phasmophobia so much.
Man, I'm so sorry. I missed somebody's name in the chat here. But no, here it is. I'm sorry. Emma Nimpton says, "Is Phasmo any good solo?" The answer, as far as I'm concerned, is yes. It just feels like a completely different game when you're playing it solo. When you're playing it by yourself, it's so much scarier. You don't have anyone to talk to. You don't have anyone that's going to help you if you get in trouble, right? And so you are on your own, and you feel like you're on your own. See, the thing is when you play Phasmo with friends, you can all assume different roles, right? And just getting all the gear into the house is a role on its own. And so so if you got like 4 VR players, you get 2 things on your on your holster to your waist, and you can have 2 things in your hands. And so that means if you got 4 people, that's 16 things you can bring into the house all at once. And then some people are checking for temperatures, some people are checking for UV stuff, some people are setting up cameras and the green dots. And so it's very much a team effort. And so you start knocking out these things all at once and finding evidence faster, figuring out where the ghost is faster. You do that, you don't have that when you're by yourself. Now, that means when you do it by yourself, it's harder. But also, it's fucking fantastic by yourself because it's scary and it's just got a whole different vibe to it, right? You feel like I love ghost hunting shows. I'm a huge fan of the YouTube channel Watcher with Shane Day and Ryan Bergera. They're awesome. And they use all the same ghost equipment. They use all this shit, right? And so it's like you get to like feel like you're doing your own ghost hunting show. That's why this speaks to me so much, man. Because first of all, I believe in ghosts, so that helps, right? And you're guaranteed to that every house you walk into is haunted. So this is just a lot of fun for me. It's right up my alley. If I was rating it on a personal scale, and wasn't trying to tell people about its faults and just telling people how much I love it, this is easily like a 9 for me. But it ends up being a high 7, a low 8, you know, and when you have to complain about all the jank. But you know, if they ever polish this thing up and make it just like a smooth sailing experience, make everything work well, and you know, clean up the visuals, finally get the DFR working, bro, then we're talking a 9, big time, right? High 9 possibly.
One thing I don't like about the game is when you play the levels and it's the sort of like, is it early morning where it's like the orangey sky?
Yeah.
Because you go into the buildings and then it's all orangey on the inside as well. Our team will always just quit the game and go back in, like, especially if you do the barn levels. No, I just want it to be dark. I want it to be nighttime. Like, I don't like any of the other stuff. I find it, like, yeah, not that appealing. If I play it, unless it's the Crimson, like the Red Rain and stuff like that, that's cool. But, like, it needs to be dark, absolutely pitch black. I don't like the orangey glow stuff. They need to remove that.
Or they need to make it look better.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Listen, this is the game. The more you play, the more you like it, and the better it gets, right? And so, I'm definitely struggling with the review. You know, there's some imposter syndrome stuff going on there. There's certainly some like, how do I balance the jank with how much I love it, and like, how do you get critical or super critical on something that you love this much? And so it's coming along. I apologize that it's not out already, but there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So, crap. Anyway, so that was all because Professor Lilith said that the Sunday multiplayer will be Phasmophobia this week. Guys, if you don't know, come join the Discord. You click the link in the description below and come join. We play multiplayer games every single Sunday. There's also our mod, Nick Mulo, has given everybody roles, or you can assign yourself roles so that if there's a PSVR2 multiplayer game you want to play, then you can tag everybody with that role when you want to play, right? Anybody who's interested in playing that game can come join you. Our Discord has very quickly become the best place to play any PSVR2 game that there is. I love that.
Amen.
Okay.
Hey, Rough Talk VR in the chat. What up? What up?
I'm just reading what they wrote. Shit.
They just said, yeah, dude, it's such good game mechanics too, but it's like a really bad acid trip. I assume they're talking about no, Into the Radius. Into the Radius. Yeah.
Dude, Into the Radius. There's another one. Like, the more you play, the better it gets. We've had some stellar VR games lately. And
dude,
it's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Including one that's coming out in 4 days' time.
What's that?
That's not the sound they make. Maybe that?
I think you're. I think Discord's noise canceling is muting you.
God, it is cancelling out. It won't let me actually make the sound, even though I'm doing it really loud. Even the neighbours could hear it. It wasn't. Oh my God! Let me try one more time. Wow, it does block it out. That is wild. I'm so loud when I do it.
Thanks, Discord.
Let me go into my settings and get rid of the cancel. Let me try this. Here we go. Just 1 second. Audio. We got.
Roy Martini with the $5 tip says, thinking of getting the Sony Explore earbuds on sale for PSVR, as I like the idea of using Bluetooth on my phone at the same time. Thoughts, Game Cats? Listen, ever since I've gotten the Pulse headphones for my PSVR2, I don't know how I ever lived without them. The sound, the immersion you get from the sound of over the ear. Thank you, Discord. The sound.
I had it turned off.
Yeah,
and it's still. Yeah. I can't believe this. I'm sorry.
Discord sucks. It doesn't. I love Discord, but I can't seem to turn off noise canceling 100%. It's weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, Roy Martini, my advice is the Pulse headset, the over-the-ear headset, is just fucking so good. So good. I'm so happy with that purchase. I know nothing about using Bluetooth on the same time as, on your phone at the same time. I know nothing of that. So I can't help you there. But hopefully some of the cats here in the chat can help you. Myles, do you use the Pulse headset too? Are you with me?
I do. I've always loved it. I had it since launch. And because I remember when you were thinking again, I was like, dude, yeah. I dig it so much. It's comfy. And actually the ear pads were like wearing away. The yellow foam was coming out, and then you're like, oh yeah, it's not made of particularly good material. I then got some replacements. Sony weren't going to offer me replacements. They didn't sell them. They said you got to buy a new one. So I went on Amazon and I got some with like, it's called like cooling gel pads on the like, I don't know what. They were cheaper. They were cheaper than, they were like $20, $30. And dude, they are way better than the ones you originally get. They're incredible. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, please do.
Whatever cooling gel is. It's probably cancerous and my ears are going to fall off in a couple of years. But for now, it feels great. So I'll keep using them.
You know whose problem that is? Future Myles.
Mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Future Myles. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't let this Myles worry about it. Future Myles can.
That's what humans do. We deal with current comfort, and then we deal with the future later.
I'll just say that the first game I played with the Pulse headset on, like the first game I played through for review, was Madison VR.
Oh my gosh, you psycho!
I went from using earbuds, which I always thought were great. I was like, the sound is awesome. I've got no complaints. To being like, exactly.
I've literally just found the cooling. Here we go, cooling gel stuff. I'm just going to link it in the chat. Whoa, it was $15, $16. I'm going to put it in the chat. Anyone wants it? I don't use a referral thing, so don't worry about it.
I'll definitely buy those for $1.
There we go. I put them in the chat, and they worked great.
Oh my god. The screen is so bright.
And look, you can choose all the different colors. Like they got burgundy, they got red storm, they got leather black, they got protein leather black gold. Oh, I didn't get these choices when I last did. Oh my god, those snow leopard ones are ugh. Jesus Christ.
Imzadi with the level 2 membership says Bryan and Myles joking about dick pics. It's time to get to work. Have a great day. Wow. Okay.
There was no joke. No joke.
I mean,
between me and my therapist. Thank you.
I honestly wasn't joking either. Listen, my mom has told me many times, she's like, there's things in life you're going to regret. Like when I decided not to go to my prom, she's like, you're going to regret that for the rest of your life. When I decided not to get confirmed in church, she said, you're going to regret that for the rest of your life. When I told her about the hundreds of dick pics I have sent on online dating sites, she said, why are you telling me this?
It's fair. It's good to know. It's good to know, Peter. I feel like be honest with your family. Be honest with your parents. It's good. Honesty is the best policy.
Listen, also available to pretty much anyone that asks for it. This is kind of a running joke in my life, because like I'm like, oh no, what would ever happen if somebody discovered Brian Paul's dick pics? Nothing. And so I was when I was still working at the restaurant, this waitress that I was friends with was like, I was telling her, I was like, yeah, it's just like, it's a different time, man. No one gives a fuck about. It's like, oh no, his dick pics. Oh no, somebody leaked his dick pics. I was like, who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? She goes, you have dick pics? And I go, yeah. She goes, can I see them?
Wow.
Yeah. Here.
Wow.
I just handed my phone to her. I'm like, what are people so embarrassed about? And I'm like, people were so embarrassed about like nudity and shit. I'm like, oh my god.
It's just like showing a leg or a finger.
Everyone take your dicks out.
Or an ear. Yeah, if everyone does it, it won't be an issue.
I don't know, man. I've just never understood.
Before the internet, I was introduced to a game called Cock or Ball. Have you heard of this before?
No, but I'm putting my feet up and listening. This is going to be great.
So I worked at a ski resort before I went to university. So I was like 18, 19, and there was a caretaker. This sounds like a cliche. And he says, have you ever played Cock or Ball before? And I was like, I don't know what you're on about, mate. I'm trying to do some work here. And he's like, oh, okay. Next time I show you some, you got to guess if it's cock or ball. Mm-hmm. So he would just out of nowhere just pull a bit of skin out of his trousers, his pants, and he'd go cock or ball. And you're like, I'm not interested. I'm not playing this. He'd go, no, seriously, cock or ball. And it's actually really hard to guess if it's cock or ball. It's actually a really good game. That's how he gets you dragged in. But then the time he did it most was when you were playing pool, and like you're about to pot the black and win against him, and then as you're about to like go for the black, even if it's obviously going to go in, he would just by the pocket go cock or ball, and that was it. Game over, mate. You couldn't concentrate. So yeah, Cockable. I'd never heard of it before, and I have to say, like as I said, had no interest in it, but it's actually a really hard game to play. You think that you'd know straight away, but yeah. But anyway, I was a young boy, and that was a caretaker. It sounds like every cliche, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Story time, people.
Thoroughly entertaining story, Myles.
Do you reckon it would be a good PSVR2 game?
No.
Cockable VR.
Not until PSSR gets implemented.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Right.
But if it had no reprojection as well, I think it could be quite an immersive experience. Cockable VR.
Yeah. Listen, if it gets B haptic support, I'm in.
B haptic support, good. Yeah, in a headset rumble. Yeah, I think good haptics. Yeah, like B haptic support. Yeah, I think that could be good. I'm not going to pitch it to flat to VR. I think that because obviously there needs to be a flat version first. I don't think there is one. But
you get spare time, right? Could you?
Sorry, I should be keeping this with my therapist. I'm sorry, people. Let's carry on.
Don't worry, she'll tell me all about it later.
Myles Ryan, the game feline, thinks he's worked out. It's not that easy, dude. It's not that easy when they stretch it. He just says wrinkles, it's the ball. If there's no wrinkles, it's the cock. Easy. Not if it's been yanked out and it's been stretched. It's really difficult.
All right, listen, Myles Ryan, if you think it's that easy, I mean, GameCat Meetup 2025 is mere months away. We'll see, won't we?
DD haptics, someone said.
Nice. Luber the Underground Game Cat with the €5 says Cube VR developer says that the positional reprojection has been available for a while. This is true, and it's not limited to PS5 Pro in any way. Details in the news channel over on our Discord. Yeah, this is very true. The Cube developer and lots of developers hang out in our Discord, and so it's always nice getting additional information from people like that. You say, hey, so the question is, Cube VR developer, why the fuck didn't you use it in Cube VR? Because the reprojection in Cube VR is bad. I would love to know what the reason was to not include it in that game. Because yeah, it does seem like it's something. If you look it up, it's been on Sony's site for a little while. I don't know. Izzard with the level 1 membership says, so in summary, that was in relation to our reprojection talk. Yeah.
I like that Stingray X said, context Myles, I came into, depends on how it stretches, lol. It's like, no, having the context makes it worse. He thinks he's come in on something completely innocent. It's not. Don't worry about it. Thanks for joining, Stingray. Do hit the like button, everyone, by the way. Over half of you haven't done it. Unbelievable. I haven't actually done it. Shit. I've just hit the like button. I'm no longer a hypocrite. Hit the like button, peeps.
Can you hit it one more time for me? I won't be able to do it till later. Just hit it one more time for me. See what happens.
Okay.
That'll do it.
Oh, it's unliked it. I'll go ahead.
Pietrick F with the 12 plantain says new algo is more demanding but available on PS5. I'm assuming that's in relation to the reprojection as well. Dan Kiefer with the $20 tip says, no, I have not been hacked. No, you are not hallucinating. You have read so many of my comments over the years, and I have not tipped you. Thank you. I still owe you, but PSVR2 that broke my wallet just arrived an hour ago. That is incredible. Dan Kiefer, thank you so much. I have read so many of your comments because you write so many great comments. I absolutely hate when we get through like a show and we don't pull people in who haven't tipped. Like a lot of people are having great conversations in the chat. So thank you for always, pushing the conversation forward there. Everybody's in the chat and has great stuff to offer. We're trying to read that and have a conversation and run a show all at the same time. So we appreciate you guys really contributing to this conversation, whether we're paying attention or not. We do our best. Also, congrats, Dan Kiefer, on the new headset. So great. Red Rover, the effing Game Cat with the $5 tip says, remember the user intro videos from the past? He's referring to viewer takeover intros. Now the viewer takeover has been relegated to comments only. But yeah, we used to have videos. People would send them in and be like, just point. It used to be just they point the camera at themselves and be like, hey, I'm Joe Rover, the Game Cat. And like, this is viewer takeover. And we'd start the show with like their video clip. Hundreds of them, Myles. Hundreds. And when we switched to doing live shows, that kind of fell by the wayside a little bit because we were that was our way to like, interact with the community before. But now we do so many live shows that we're interacting with you guys constantly. He says, mine was pretty whacked. Mine was pretty whacked out. Whatever happened to them? Not enough vids, or did my video kill it? I'd have to go back and look. I have no idea. I don't remember what your viewer takeover intro was, Red Rover. But no one's killed it. Some people really started trying to like make it like a promotional video for like their own YouTube channel. Shit started getting really weird. Like it was supposed to be like, hey, I'm blah 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 the Game Cat, but this is viewer takeover, like literally a 3-second thing. And then people started putting like lots of work into theirs, and like, it was cool. And then people, there were so many different kinds of viewer takeover intros. Some people made them in game, some people made them in Rec Room, some people made them in real life. We got to see face reveals. Like it was so cool, the creativity that we saw. But yeah, sometimes we'd have like 10 that were all stacked up, and we go, oh, we'll get to all of these eventually. And then suddenly we'd have none for like weeks on end. But then again, like I said, when we switched over to doing a live show, like we interacted with the viewers constantly like this, that like viewer takeover seemed sort of unnecessary. We just kind of rolled it into the actual live show. So that's what happened, Sir Grover.
There we go.
Yeah.
True story.
All right. And Relic with the $2 tip says, cock and ball.
Fair play.
Well done. Look what you've done to the show, Myles.
But it's cock or ball.
But he paid $2, so it's cock and ball.
Fine. So that's where you just grab
Myles?
You just stretch 2 bits out at the same time and go, it's cock and ball. Okay.
That's what it is.
Cock or ball. So you have to do $2 again with the or. Get it right. Unbelievable. I share these quite personal, traumatic stories, and people clearly aren't listening. It's quite hurtful.
Myles.
Yep.
Wes and I talked extensively about Trombone Champ Unflattened on Wednesday's show.
Okay.
Nope.
No.
Nothing.
Toot, 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 toot.
That worked.
Yeah.
But I hadn't tried it yet. I had not played on Wednesday. I had not played Trombone Champ Unflattened. Now, obviously, full disclosure, you work at Impact Reality with Wes. Impact Reality is a parent company of Flat to VR Studios. So all of Myles' opinions will be very, very biased. It benefits him for you to buy the game. I, however, don't give a fuck whether you buy the game or not. It makes no difference to me whatsoever in my life. So keep that in mind as the conversation moves forward.
And the other thing I want to say is I've played it throughout development on the MetaQuest 3. This morning I got the key, like you did, or it would have been late. It would have been yesterday for you. It was early hours of the morning for me.
I had PSVR2 key yesterday.
Yeah. So I had the PSVR2. I woke up to the PSVR2 game key. It was the first time I played it on PSVR2 today. So I do have like some strong views on it, and I was very blown away with certain things they've done with the PSVR2 version. But to kick things off, I'm just really excited to hear what you thought of it.
Well, first, Relic with another $2 says cock or balls.
With an S, not a Z.
Oh
my God.
There's no winning with you.
No, Relic. I'm not going to joke around. Much love to you, dude. Fucking doing that.
Oh my God.
I like that his receipts for the end of the month of always super chats. It's like, and you've made X amount on cock or balls. Okay.
Myles, it's so interesting to me because you and I had like 2 seconds to talk before the show started, and you had mentioned that you had just finished streaming this, and you were disappointed that the social screen was so dark, right?
Yeah.
Because it does not reflect the colorful aesthetic and the awesome bright and shiny environments that this game has to offer. And I didn't even I had no chance to look at my footage before rendering it out. Again, it's something I played for 20, 30 minutes today, and then rendered the footage out in time for GAMESCAST and didn't even look at it. So who knows what you're about to see? Like I could totally take off my headset at any time and go to the bathroom or something. But yeah, the footage here is much darker than the game looks in the headset. Because it does look very bright and vibrant and cheerful and cartoony. And here it looks kind of like a little bit dull and sedated. I mean, still looks nice. But this is not what I saw in the headset.
I'm really interested, but basically, there's been discussions on our internal about like after my live stream of like they're trying to work out how to fit. And this is why we do stuff before launch and stuff. But it has been really interesting being on the other side of a development process and seeing what people have to go through and think about. And like, I'm kind of interested of like, when you do a social screen, like you just assume it's always going to be reflective of what you see in the headset, but it's clearly not. But yeah, it's a very vibrant looking game, and it's not shown in the social footage. But yeah,
what do I think of this game? I think it's so goofy, right? The concept alone, like they have this little tutorial that feels like it goes on a little bit too long, where they're like, grab the trombone with the grip, and then and then grab the slide with your right grip, and then and then push. They ask you to use face buttons to blow into it, right? And then, so you pull in the slide, and then you're pushing the buttons. You can use the trigger. I like the trigger better. I think the trigger is more fun.
Oh. But sometimes it gets exhausting. On the fast bits, sometimes I'm like, oh, fuck, my finger's going to go. Now I need to use the face buttons.
That's exactly what I experienced as well. In fact, I haven't gone through the options yet, but I would be curious to find out, is there an option to just automatically hold the trombone or like toggle grip?
And that is what I recommend, because when you start using and you might agree with this, well, when you start using the face buttons, your grip fingers now. So when I started doing the faster ones, I do grip for toggle. And that's for both holding the trombone and also grabbing it for, So just to let you know, guys, what you're looking at is as you push your arm away from you, it's going down. God, I'm doing this from memory now. It's going down and then as you bring it towards you, it goes high. I'm pretty sure that's the way around it is.
You bring it close.
But something that was interesting during the development process is, and I kind of would have to look at my own footage going back, is because you're going up, out, and in. For it to go up and down, your hand might actually start. Some people will actually start doing that, like going up in the air for up, and
that's funny.
So like you might start going diagonally. I think I do a bit of that. It's an interesting one, but like overall, it works really, really well for the game.
There's a little bit of a learning curve here, and honestly, I think like Walkabout Mini Golf. It's so funny because I play Walkabout Mini Golf now, and I don't have any issues whatsoever, right? But I remember even in my review of Walkabout, it was like, oh, when you're playing Walkabout, your hand might accidentally cover some of the sensors that are required to not be covered in order for inside-out tracking to work properly. And with this game, you want to pretend that you've got a trombone. And so, these two hands are, sort of like this, right? And you kind of keep them close to each other. But the problem is like when you keep them close to each other, you may occlude one of them. And also, when you get too close to your headset, the cameras might not be able to see it, right? And so when you're going in for those really high notes, I lost tracking once or twice. And so, just like Walkabout, you take 2 seconds and go, okay, hold on a second. I don't need these two hands to be that close together. I can actually do this, right? And it works. And it works so much better once you do that, and once you realize like kind of like where your hands can be, so you never lose tracking. I feel like that's something that's going to be, that you don't even think about after you played for a while. But dude, it is so goofy, right? Mostly because of the sounds that you're making. It's hard not to smile when you're playing it, and that's, I think, its greatest success is that it just feels so silly that whether you like the song or not, and actually. So far, I've only played a handful of songs, but there was only one song that I didn't recognize so far. And it sounded terrible, but I did really good at it, right? And I was like, is this how this song is supposed to sound? Like, I was laughing while I was playing it, and no one was watching me. It was just, it's a silly game, but there seems like there's a lot of depth to it and a lot of challenge. And so far, man, I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I'm gonna spend plenty more hours with it for the rest of the weekend in order to hopefully have a review ready for launch. If not, at least a Bryan bite, if nothing else.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, the main reason I love Trombone Champ, and I'm talking about Trombone Champ generally, obviously I'm ecstatic that it's come to VR. I tell this story a lot, but I live streamed Trombone Champ just over a year ago on my Wednesday show. On the flat screen, and I during it just said I wish there was a VR game. There was a VR mod, but like an actual VR game. And so when I joined Impact in May of this year, and I saw a Discord channel of Trombone Champ Unflattened, I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. But and the reason I think Trombone Champ is so good as a rhythm game is in a lot of rhythm games, when you don't perform well, you get punished. So like if you're watching someone play Guitar Hero and they miss a note, the music stops and it sounds terrible. And like I understand why it's done. I think it's great because it's like, no, it makes you feel like you're playing the notes when you're playing them. So it definitely works for that game. The thing about Trombone Champ is when you miss a note, it just sounds terrible and ridiculous. But then when you hit a note right, it also sounds ridiculous and terrible. And so there's just a real playfulness and fun to it. And going to like the songs you mentioned, there are so many songs in this game that I'm like, oh, I've heard this before. I couldn't tell you where I've heard it. It's a classic tune, but I've heard it. They've got like national anthems. I think at launch it's going to have 50 tracks. And so look, yeah, as you've already said, Bryan, look, I work for Impact Reality and Flat to VR Studios. Of course, I'm going to be pushing this game out, but there's a reason I joined Impact Reality and Flat to VR, and it's because I genuinely believe in their vision. It's a network of people who are VR creators and people that love VR. And what Flat to VR are doing is exactly what their name says. They want to take games that you love in flat and bring it to VR. And I know that there are some people going, oh, great. Trombone Champ, you know, who wants to see that? The reality is, for a first game, it's like if you can't nail something that maybe is seen as quite simple and bring it to VR, then why would people take a hedge their bet with like much bigger AAA games? Like, this is a first step, and if this succeeds, and I know that Wes would have talked loads about this on Wednesday, then you know, lots of people in the industry are paying attention to us. Like, we feel like the laser eyes on us right now, which is, it's not just about the game, it's about how we market it and do everything. Like, there's a lot of pressure, and just seeing how everyone's working behind the scenes, it's been amazing to see how it evolved. Like, when I started playing the early builds in like May and June on MetaQuest, all the crowd were like flat. They were like Parappa the Rapper characters, which kind of had its own appeal to it. And so, and then seeing them with the sort of design boards going, we're going to have cannons come in, which fire confetti, like all that stuff as you're playing. It's just been so cool to see it. And the VR game is actually built on the code of the original. So it's not a port per se. It is like a reimagining, but it is done on the original code. And I just kind of love that as a philosophy for a game. And so, yeah, the reason I bring all this up is, yeah, I work for them, but like, I totally believe in this. And I was a fan of Trombone Champ anyway. And when I was at Gamescom, there were a lot of VR people that went into this going, it's not my kind of game. And they tried it. They were like, actually, they were smiling. They were having a lot of fun to it. And I can't wait. I always look for what games to play with my family at Christmas when I got my uncle and auntie over. This is going to be it. Like, having this on the TV, like, is going to be so funny. So funny, like, having them play tunes. And like, there's something to be said there. Like, you could have people play tunes and everyone's got to guess what it is just from them playing it. But the final thing I want to say before I go back to you, Bryan, about what I was most taken back from when I started playing it on PSVR2 this morning for the first time, was the haptics. The haptics on MetaQuest are great for what they are, but on the Sense controllers, like, and people again are going to say, oh, it's just me using marketing speak to promote this game. And this is what I'm going to ask you if you felt this way. The haptics are so good that you genuinely feel like the air coming out the trombone as you're playing it. Like, you get that resonance, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And then the thing I didn't notice, because it doesn't happen too often, is the headset rumble when you run out of air in your lungs if you blow too hard. And then I was like, fuck the headset. And then your character's like breathing and you feel a real sense of it. Like, it's always the nuances when it comes to haptics that I think is when it's most powerful. And I messaged the dev team afterwards going, I did not, I knew you were going to do haptics, but like what they did for that, it feels really, really good to play. So yeah.
Listen, these are the kind of things that when we talk to developers and we say, why isn't the adaptive trigger support there? Why aren't there better haptics? You know, like there's some amazing games out there that don't do a good enough job with like Propagation Paradise Hotel, probably my favorite zombie game on the platform, right? Just okay, now I've got to backtrack.
It's a strong contender, man.
It's a strong contender. It's a great but they didn't nail, like, sure, like, you know, you use the hand dryer in that you get amazing haptics, but like, how come they didn't use the adaptive trigger support for when you're like using tools or like, you know, firing guns? Doesn't feel great, right? There's a like something, and there's definitely, besides the hand dryer stuff, like there's some very noticeably missing haptics. and when the answer you get when you ask, I didn't ask Wanna Dev Studio directly, but I've asked other studios, why aren't you using this? And they're because it's time consuming and it costs money for people to program that. It's not easy. All valid answers, right? So when you see a studio like Flat to VR implementing shit they don't need to implement into a game like this just because they think it'll be good. Not because it needs it, not because anyone's expecting it, but just because they think it'll be good and it enhances the experience. You know, you're dealing with people who really fucking care, not just about VR, but about our platform specifically. So I don't know what the quality of flat out VR will be. I don't know what the quality of Aeon is going to be, or well, the other games, I can't even fucking remember anymore. My brain is that fried. The other games that they've announced, I don't know what the quality of those will be. I've played this and I know what the quality is, right? For a $15 game that you could easily sink 100 hours into, they have put a lot of what seems like extra work into this port, into the PSVR2 version specifically, not even the VR version. So listen, I hope, obviously, because we want Flat to VR to do well. Hope this game sells amazingly well. I envision it to be a game that like doesn't leave the top 10 sales charts, right? Whereas like a AAA game will come out, or a very a big game, like a big game in our world, right? Like Into the Radius will come out, or Legendary Tales will come out, and it'll chart, but then it'll disappear until it's on sale, and then maybe chart again, and then disappear for months on end, right? But the games that stay on the sales charts are these kind of like evergreen titles, the ones that like if you get a PSVR2 headset, maybe it's because your friends have told you about it, or because it's a game that went viral on YouTube and your favorite content creator is making games about it or videos about it, even though he doesn't usually cover VR, right? So the job simulators, the surgeon sim, like those style of games, this is that kind of game, and I honestly think that you can point to it and poke fun at it and say, man, Flat to VR, we were hoping that they would bring us AAA games. This is actually a really smart choice for their first game. We saw this with Max Mustard in Toast Interactive, right? Max Mustard is a phenomenal game. Richie's Plank Experience is kind of silly.
Yep.
But Richie's Plank Experience is the game that has been carrying Toast Interactive for literally 8 years now. That's the game that's making money. Max Mustard, the good game, the really good game, not carrying the studio. In fact, they had to lay off 10 people because it didn't sell all that well, right? So these games are important to studios, and I hope that this game is ends up being that game for Flat to VR studios.
Yeah, I mean, that's good to hear, Bryan, and it means a lot. And I am actually going to put a bit of my marketing hat on now, but again, it comes in part from the fact that I believe in this, which is if you have MetaQuest, if you have PSVR2, if you have Steam, never mind Steam VR, but just a Steam account, which I do, just take a couple of seconds to wish list it. It does mean a lot, and obviously I can't go into specifics, but for a lot of these platforms, we are on the verge of hitting thresholds which are going to help just get it that boost that it needs. And so, like, I'm someone who doesn't always wish list stuff. Like, it's like, if I might come back to it another time, like, this is an occasion where solidarity is important. This is something we talk about internally at Impact Reality about why we do what we do. And I told this story many times before. What I was blown away by when I was at Gamescom and I saw the trailers for Trombone Champ and the other Flat to VR games that were going to be shown, was that at the end of them it said MetaQuest, PSVR2, Steam VR, and it's like, okay, they're coming to all of them. No, they're like, no, we are going to do everything we can to make sure it comes out on launch, which is Tuesday the 26th of November, on all three of those platforms. And I was like, forget like it's a good marketing move, but just talk about like the spirituality of what it is to be VR, which is VR. There's this real underdog mentality. Whether you're a gamer, a content creator, a developer, there's this real sense that we know this is the future. People just haven't fully bought into it yet. It's not quite in the mainstream, and it's not a question of if, but when. And it was what you were talking about earlier with the other stuff. A rising tide lifts all boats. all of these things come together. And again, this was not something that I was expecting to see. But when the Flat VR guys like, no, we're committed to doing this, I was like, this is powerful, because what you're saying is we are here for VR gamers, regardless of the platforms that you're going for. And that really is at the heart of everything that's been done internally. And again, it's why that I speak as much as I do about it, not only because I work there, because we all do jobs where you can do the bare minimum. This stuff is like, I've just got such a good feeling about it. And all the things you were saying about it having this evergreen quality. When I first saw it was a thing they were working on, I was like, I think that this could be one of the best selling games of the year. Doesn't mean you don't have to put the hard work in. And it goes, they've gone beyond the port of call, like the things they've done with this. And again, seeing the evolution it's gone with, and there's a potential to do more with it. I don't actually know what Trombone Champ, the regular one, did. I assume they kept adding songs to it in the future. Obviously, I know that there's a modding community for the PC. We've spoken about that before, but I assume they do music packs. I don't know. I haven't been following it, but like, if this does well. There's no reason, dude. I was joking about this on my live stream earlier. Can you Imagine Dragon, Trombone Champ, and Flatten Pack? Like I was like, that's not going to happen. But you can just imagine like these silly Britney Spears, Trombone Champ, and Flatten Pack. But the custom trombones, did you get to try any of them out? Did you get the cat one?
No. I think I unlocked a couple things, or I didn't listen. I just wanted to get a feel for the game right now, right?
Yeah, sure.
Get some first impressions for this, and but the fact that I am a sucker for unlocks, right? And so there's all the collectible tromboner cards, right? And then there's all the different trombones you can unlock. So there's anytime you get a carrot dangling at the end of a string like that, I am down. And dude, I went back, like I only played for 20, 25 minutes, something like that. And during that time, I even went back because I was like, oh, one of the challenges was to S rank the first song. And I was like, I only got an A on that.
Every song has 3 challenges, isn't it?
So
yeah.
I've already gone back to like, try to get a challenge that I didn't get the first time. And so like, does it have its hooks in me yet? No, but I can see how it's going to. It's going to be a busy week. I've got a lot to get done, but I'm going to spend some solid time with Trombone Champ. I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far.
Well, the last thing I'll say, or two last things I'll say. Firstly, is like the extracurricular stuff. Is the trombones that you unlock, you can paint them. It's like, okay, you paint it, you'll spray it, and it will turn. No, it literally is physics. Like if you paint a certain area. So on the cat trombone that you see in the trailer of my live stream, I got a pen and I drew a moustache on it. And like tiger stripes on its back, or I wrote youtube.com, I couldn't fit Myles on the side, but like you can draw that stuff, and then when you put it on the rack and bring it back later, it will remember it. Like that is such a cool, that's a really cool feat. That's a VRAF feature. The other thing I was going to mention was I was determined this morning to see how close, like how many trophies I could unlock. I'll try and be the first in the world to get a platinum trophy.
Wait, whoa, just listen, I just want to say something real quick. How dare you, sir? How dare you have the scores that you have on these songs? Okay, because I'm nowhere close. I'm nowhere close.
And dude, and just a bit of like behind the curtain. Throughout this year, I've not been as involved in the marketing of Trombone Champ as I'd like to be, just because we deal with a lot of different clients, and that's where I've been working and stuff like that. But like seeing the team working on Trombone Champ, there has been a lot of internal rivalry getting high scores on the MetaQuest build, and I've not had much of a chance to play. I don't know if it's just in my head, and maybe because I'm just used to playing PSVR2. I find it easier to play on PSVR2 in terms of just how the controllers feel and stuff. But yeah, so like I just want to say I'm not someone that's been playing it lots and lots like a lot of people. But what I will say is you will turn it around pretty quickly once it clicks, and you get a sense of I need to hold it here to be just below the top and stuff like that. You will get it. But the trophy stuff I wanted to mention, I thought you were going to say, how dare you, before everyone else gets a chance to do the trophies. No. One of the trophies on it is you've got to complete a track on turbo mode, which is, I'm going to assume it's double speed.
I tried turbo mode. Oof.
It is hard. You've got to complete turbo mode with every note being perfecto. Hit every note perfect. Dude, there's going to be one of you out there that's amazing is going to do it, and I take my hat off to you. That's not going to be me. I cannot do that. Yeah. But I'm sorry. There's another point I want to make. You did mention it, and I just want to like hone in on it. People was like, "What's this going to cost?" I couldn't believe how much this is going to cost at launch.
$15,
like,
right?
$15 is
Crazy.
a steal. Like that's the kind of price that they don't never need to do a discount. That for me feels like a discounted price, and I'm like, I'm not saying they should charge higher. I'm like, that's a great price. Like as an introduction game, just like give this a go, and I think everyone's gonna have a good time with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I've definitely played a lot of $20 games that I'm like, this probably shouldn't have been $20, right? Looking at the content in Trombone Champ, I'm like, it absolutely should have been $20. So, yeah, I hope again that this is yet another reason people will just pick it up without like really having to. You're not going to wait for my review. It just looks like a game you probably want to play, and $15. You don't need to fucking watch a review for that shit, right? I just hope it becomes kind of like this insta-buy game for that reason, because again, I think so many people in this industry, and I've talked to a lot of people in this industry that have confirmed this, they price their game a little bit higher so that it seems like a better deal when it's on sale, right? And it's like you said, you don't have to wait for a sale. This is the sale price that it's launching at. So
that's exactly it. So Macho was saying, is there a platinum that would help sales? Wes and I have been like the internal champions of PSVR2, saying this is what it needs, and on countless meetings was saying, got to have a platinum trophy. And actually, do you know the game example I always used to explain it was what was the pixel Doom style game Compound?
Yeah. Yep.
The reason I use that as a description is Compound I love. That is a game where it can get difficult, but the difference from me playing it because I love it and doing those difficult missions and grinding and really trying to complete those difficult things to get a platinum trophy. A platinum trophy is the carrot on the stick for a lot of gamers. We have these monkey brains or these reptile like parts of the brain that makes us chase it. I was like, having a platinum trophy will just at the margins have greater retention. It will make people grind for stuff. And it's just been really cool having that conversation, like again, as gamers collaborating with devs and marketing, and just making sure that it all gels together. And like that's why I think that a great product, and again, so much credit goes to many people at Impact Reality and Flat to VR who are not me. And Wes, you mentioned on the show, to have him on the PlayStation blog was just like amazing for me to see as well. Like to see a name that we recognize, it just it brings it home. And once again, it brings it home to the community that is built from all the amazing game cats and what you've done, Bryan. Like in many ways, you help create these opportunities by introducing people to it, and
that's right.
A lot of credit goes to you as well.
I'm the springboard. I don't benefit at all from this shit, but everyone else seems to benefit from it. You got
the key free, didn't you?
The key for this game?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have it back.
No, it's good. You have it.
Now you're making me feel guilty for getting a review key. Wow, I see how it is, Myles. Get a little bit of power and go.
All right, learn to take a fucking compliment. You
look at me.
Bull.
I put the platinum trophy in manually myself. I'm the one who inserted the trophy into Trombone Champ. It was all me, Myles said. It was all me.
Brody is saying, is there a platinum not? There is a fucking platinum.
Yeah. Yes. And I think Compound was the greatest comparison you could have made, because I fell off of Compound after I finished the review thinking that I was going to go back and accomplish all the extra objectives, but without the platinum trophy to dangle in front of me, I'm probably done with Compound. I loved Compound.
Yeah.
But yeah, the platinum trophy was an absolute necessity to keep me roped in.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we got to move on from this. Myles, thank you so much for the extra insight. I appreciate it. Oh my God, is it really close to a 2-hour show already? That was unexpected. I ditched so many topics from this show. We had like 5 other news stories to talk about. I ditched them all before the show because I was like, oh, we'll keep this one nice and short. I have a lot of work to do and I'm tired, and I'm sure Myles is exhausted.
Yeah, I've got some work to do after this.
It's a good thing we ditched those other topics. Don't worry, you guys.
I also have some pizza to eat, some leftover pizza, so I'm happy about that.
I'm jealous.
Ooh.
I don't get to eat pizza.
Do you not? Not at all now?
No.
I'm sorry for bringing it up.
It's all right. don't worry, guys. PSVR this week is coming out either tonight or tomorrow morning, and it has all the news stories that we didn't cover from the week and all the ones we did cover from the week. The Game Cat Andrew Ehrenreich with the $2 tip says Pulse Explorer buds are amazing. Great with PSVR2. Listen, I guess when you get quality earbuds, it's a different story. But I'll stick with my over-the-ear ones. We got Kill Artist 1, the Dreamweaver Game Cat with the $5 tip says, beat Batman Arkham Shadow last night. A true classic that I can't wait to play the New Game Plus mode when it releases. That's cool. It's very cool. Also, Arcanage announced that their game is launching with the New Game Plus. That's another thing, Myles. Alongside the Platinum that should be a necessity in any PSVR2 game. Dude, New Game Plus modes have been a necessity in flat screen games for decades now.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't get a New Game Plus mode after you've beaten the game that you can maybe play on a harder difficulty and like take some of the stuff with you that you accumulated on your run, like it just feels like it feels like they didn't go all the way with the game. So awesome that Batman Arkham Shadow is going to get a New Game Plus mode. Even awesomer that Arcanage is going to launch with one. So well done, Vitruvius.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a great point. We've probably done it as a topic before, but doing like what would our wish list be for a VR game to succeed on PSVR? Like what are the things that it must have that like devs are still not considering? I'm pretty sure we've done it a while ago, but wouldn't hurt covering it again.
Yeah. Next week.
Yeah. Next week.
Twitcher, the Deuce Juice Game Cat with the £5 says, how long before we see 3D printed trombone slider for the orbs? Oh my God. If it could detect you actually blowing to control the toots, I'd buy one. That's pretty funny.
Talking about the tracking, actually having it close, by default in the settings, I only noticed when I looked in, it has says it will automatically put the trombone to your mouth when it's close. So I haven't turned it off yet, but I'm like, what? So you have to keep it there the full time? But like just having it there just makes it easy and makes you have the tracking. Because if you have it too close, then yeah, it can't see it.
Way cooler accessory than a gun stock, that's for sure. A toot stock.
A toot stock, yeah.
Oh, man, Myles, I am so tired. We need to wrap this thing up.
Well, is it you want me to pick a game?
Yeah, you're gonna pick a game for the 4-minute challenge. We can.
Yep.
Cool. All right, you guys know how this works. Myles is going to pick a game, either a PSVR1 or a PSVR2 game, and it's up to you guys out there and me right here to figure out what PSVR1 or PSVR2 game it is using an infinite number of yes or no questions, but we only have 4 minutes to do it in. Hopefully everyone out there is ready because God knows I'm not. Myles, have you picked a game?
Yep.
All right, then let's do this. This is by my trombone sounds.
Some of them are horrific sounding, but what's great is you can then change their sound to the regular trombone sound so you can still keep the cosmetic. But the cat one is hilarious, man. It's so good.
All right, I'm gonna play more tonight. Actually, I promised some people I play some Phasmo tonight too. So
nice.
It doesn't matter if I'm tired. I'm just gonna get stuff to do. All right, on my mark, get Dez, go. Is this a PSVR1 game?
No.
Okay, it's on PSVR2. Is it also on other platforms?
Yes.
Okay. Non-exclusive. Not exclusive. Got it. Okay. Do you do a lot of shooting guns in this game?
No.
Oh, do you shoot anything in this game, like a bow and arrow, anything?
No.
Magic? No.
No.
Are there enemies in this game?
No.
Are there puzzles in this game?
No.
No enemies. There's no puzzles. Is it a walking sim?
No.
No. Is this a game that would ever be in consideration for a top 25 or maybe top 50 list? This is a bad game.
No.
He's just going to say no to every question, isn't he? Is it a rhythm game?
No.
Is it educational?
No. No.
Okay. Is it first person?
Yes.
Is it multiplayer?
No.
Is it narrative driven?
No.
Can you walk around? Is there full locomotion?
No.
Is there teleportation?
Yes.
Of any kind? Oh, there's teleportation. Okay. Did we mention the name of this game on today's show?
No.
Is it related to sports in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Okay. Do you play a musical instrument in this game?
No.
Does it have cock or balls?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it can't be Koi Koi, guys. It's not a narrative driven game. Oh man, okay, you guys are not helping. Okay. Dan Kiefer's wondering if it's an experience more than a game.
No.
No. No, it can't be Suicide Guy, you guys, because it's not on PSVR 1. Do you farm in this game?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a couple farming games, right? There's Across the Valley. Is milking cows a mini game in this game?
Yeah. I love it. So I said, is there cock or balls? And you thought I was joking when I said, yeah, no, there is literally cock and balls in it.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I mean, huh. I'm just trying to make sure it's not Forest Farm. So it's good to make sure that can you sell stuff to
I didn't say it was a bad game.
Forest Farm is a bad game.
It is terrible.
Yeah, and okay, fine. Is this Across the Valley?
It is Across the Valley, Brian. Well done.
Nice. Thanks, chat. Chat definitely pushed me in the direction of.
And I have to say, I didn't choose it because of the cock or ball thing. And then when that got asked, I was teary eyed. That was so
By
good.
coincidence.
I've started playing Stardew Valley lately, and oh my god, I'm just like, I'd love a full-fledged Stardew Valley VR game. Like if they had to expand what they do with Across the Valley. Oh. And now I understand your criticism more since playing Stardew Valley, of the upgrades and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what a great concept. I don't, there's so many things I feel like they could have done better, including giving us full locomotion and let us like walk around and enjoy our farm. And yeah, the upgrades were cool until they weren't. Where it's like, oh man, like the upgrade should have had automation at some point in this. Great concept, good. I loved upgrading shit until I realized that all it's doing is causing me more work. Looper's got the stats here. He said second time it's been picked. First was July 14, 2023. You to me. So this is the second time you've used this game as a 20 questions game for me.
And I will use it again. So
apparently I guessed it in 11 questions. I definitely asked way more this time around. He said also the losing streak is broken. Were we on a losing streak, Looper?
Wow.
I don't even like remember like winning or losing, so it's good to know that we're finally not losing anymore. A couple more comments from the chat here before we move on. Alejandro D with the level 3 membership says, is the cat trombone exclusive to PSVR2 because of the game cats? It's not exclusive, right? They're just using it in the PSVR2 trailers because of that.
Say that again, please.
Is the cat trombone exclusive to the PSVR2 because of the
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. But it was added with game cats in mind.
Excellent. And also prominently displayed in the PSVR2 trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty awesome. Looper with the level 3 membership says, rescue mission was using the mic to detect you blowing onto the DualShock 4, so it should be doable for trombone as well. Oh, because there's a mic in.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that, but you're gonna struggle.
Yeah, also you don't want to. That sounds fucking terrible.
You want people to have a good time, not risk cardiac arrest.
Right, you're gonna hyperventilate and then pass out. Sirens on my end. Julian Fricker with the 2 quid says, are there rusty trombones? Day one buy if there are. Wah, wah.
You can paint them that way. Yep.
Yep. Amazing.
Put some brown on it. Yep.
Yep. Gotta love a rusty. You know what? I don't need to finish that thought.
Speaking of which, clip of the week.
Hell yeah. Let's get out of here, man. Thank you guys so much for everything. You guys stuck out with us through all over the place show. This is what happens. Myles and I need to take some kind of like sobriety test or like at least awareness test before starting these shows. Otherwise, we really do go all over the place. So thank you guys so much for being here for the ride. We appreciate it. Always a nice way to spend my Friday evening with the cats and with Myles. Good catching up, everybody. Thanks everybody who supports the channel. All the amazing people who help me behind the scenes. Everyone who helps out financially on patreon.com/withoutprogames and being a member here. Thanks to everybody who hangs out in the chat and shoots the shit. Everyone who tips, man, you're keeping the lights on. I really, really appreciate you. We never try to make a big deal about money because it's very, very secondary, maybe tertiary, but we do appreciate it. And thank you, everybody who sits back, hangs out, watches the show, and doesn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Here it is, Myles. Clip of the week, courtesy of the Gaming Alwyn.
Oh, no.
Let's go.
Well, that's what the old guy was saying. It's a worm.
In the chest.
I couldn't tell.
Says what?
I couldn't tell what he was screaming at. Was it a cock or bull? I didn't see it.
I don't know. 40 says keep it going. We're here for the 5 topics you didn't talk about. Oh man, yeah. Well, we're gonna give you some reason to watch PSVR this week, so don't you worry about a thing. Wah, wah. I was very happy. I will say I was very happy to find out that Metro was a horror game. I was like, what?
Yeah,
man, I've been looking forward to this game for so long, and I would have actually been thrilled about it. I knew it was a horror game. It's good stuff. Myles, you gonna play Phasmo with me?
I got to do a bit of work, but I could jump on. I'm gonna heat up some pizza, get a bit of work done. But if you can give me 25 minutes, then yeah, I'll jump in.
You got it, man. You got it.
Awesome.
Have a good weekend, cats. We love you all.